Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Troy Clayton, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Corporal Jeanette McNeely. We warmly welcome the family of Pilot Officer Charles Richardson Diggs, whose story will be told shortly. We also warmly welcome Bob Howe, representing the Air Force Association. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We also acknowledge the members of the RSL Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland, who are watching the ceremony broadcast across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by family and visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Thank you. If you're able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Pilot Officer Charles Richardson Diggs. Charles Diggs was born on the 3rd of January 1917, the eldest son of Daniel and Minnie Diggs. Known as Richie, he grew up alongside his brother and two sisters and worked on his father's station near Coonamble in New South Wales. The family were well-known pioneers in the area. Diggs attended Dubbo Public School and then Dubbo High School. He reportedly never passed his intermediate certificate and was turned down by the RAAF when he first tried to join. Regardless, on the 24th of June 1940, he was accepted for enlistment with the Royal Australian Air Force. He gave his occupation as a lorry driver and engine driver, and his mother later stated that he had done some private flying before enlisting. After initial training in Sydney and Narromine, on the 31st of October 1940, Diggs left for Sydney, bound for overseas service. As part of the Empire Air Training Scheme, he was one of almost 27,500 RAAF pilots, navigators, wireless operators, gunners and engineers who, throughout the course of the war, joined Royal Air Force squadrons or Australian squadrons based in Britain. Arriving in Canada, Diggs attended Specialist Flight Training School at Calgary. In March the following year, he left Canada for the United Kingdom, joining 13 Operational Training Unit in April 1941. Diggs had a flying accident on the 21st of June at Wrexham, with a note in his record that an air screw and reduction gear came off while landing. He ended up with a deep cut over his right eye, but was otherwise unharmed. In late July 1941, Diggs transferred to No. 139 Squadron, which was flying Bristol Blenheim light bombers. The squadron was known as the Jamaica Squadron, this tag being taken in acknowledgement of a Jamaican newspaper that had started to buy bombers for Britain. On the 16th of August 1941, Diggs accepted a commission and became a pilot officer. He held this position for barely a month when he carried out a successful attack on a large enemy tanker off the coast of West Flanders. For this action, he was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross, becoming the first decorated Empire Air Training Scheme officer serving the United Kingdom. The nomination for his award gave the details. Undeterred by intense and accurate anti-aircraft fire from a formidable escorting force of 6 armed ships and 4 E-boats, Pilot Officer Diggs and Sergeant Cohen pressed home their attacks from mast height, and both pilots obtained direct hits on the tanker, which was left enveloped in smoke and flames. An hour later, the tanker was seen to be sinking. Both these pilots displayed unflinching courage in the destruction of a valuable enemy ship. The award received a lot of attention by the media, and Diggs's mother and grandmother were both interviewed by Australian newspapers. Diggs's grandmother, on hearing of his decoration, reportedly went into her garden to find laurel leaves to surround his portrait, which stood on her mantelpiece. She said, "It doesn't seem long ago to me that he was just a child telling me that one day he would have an aeroplane of his own. Ever since he was tiny, he wanted to fly. I'm glad he got his wings." In December, No. 139 Squadron moved to RAF Alton in Norfolk. On the 18th of December 1941, he was a member of a crew of a Hudson that crashed to the ground near the base at around 10:45 a.m. The Diggs' family was stunned to receive the news that Richie had died, and his funeral was to take place at 11:40 a.m. on the 23rd of December 1941 at Norwich Cemetery. His father, Daniel Diggs, was presented the Distinguished Flying Cross, awarded to his son by the Governor-General in September 1942. Charles Diggs' name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left amongst more than 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Pilot Officer Charles Richardson Diggs, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrubber Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director and staff, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support of the Memorials Development Project. We particularly appreciate your visit despite the challenges posed by COVID, and we wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.